Hello everyone, greetings from Hong Kong. I am delighted to speak to you today, and I'd like to thank the UNWTO for organizing the Global Youth Tourism Summit. I'd like to congratulate the UNWTO and its partners for providing this opportunity to gather from all corners of the world and put forward ideas on the future of tourism. To the young people in the audience, it is inspiring to know that all of you are showing your dedication to making tourism stronger and brighter. Travel has always served as the great connector, in addition to being a source of education and inspiration. The global pandemic made us appreciate travel more than ever. It made us all realize just how important tourism is for the global economy and our personal lives. It showed us that travel is not an immediate right, it is a privilege, and one shouldn't be taken for granted. This is how travel once was. When I was a kid 50 years ago, travel was considered an absolute luxury, and it wasn't the seamless experience it now is. When I was a student, I studied in San Francisco in the United States. Today, Hong Kong to San Francisco is through a direct flight. But back then, I would be traveling from Hong Kong to Tokyo, then to Honolulu or Alaska, and finally arriving at San Francisco. When we had the chance to travel, it was extremely special. In fact, it was so special that when people met other people from different cultures, it was memorable. An incident happened to me 30 years ago when I was with my then husband at Dior Couture in Paris, France, trying on wedding gowns. A graceful old lady working at the store came over to my husband and said, "I don't know why, but I have the strangest feeling that I met your grandfather some time ago." To us, this was completely strange. How could she? And what was she really talking about? She then recounted a story upon her vivid memory as a small child growing up in Argentina, and how amazed she was to see for the first time in her life a distinctive Chinese gentleman wearing traditional Chinese clothing, cheongsam, accompanied by his extensive family clan, coming off a steamboat, arriving in grandeur, with enough trunks to last a lifetime, and with most unforgettably a little monkey among the entourage. That was the 1920s, and back then, during those days, people could not easily afford to travel, let alone around the world. But my ex-husband's grandfather was a ship magnate tycoon, so this voyage was exceptional. He did later confirm and even found photographs of this historical 3-month-long voyage to South America. It was incredible because this experience stuck out in this woman's mind for over half a century and had molded her interest and passion for Chinese culture since. Travel can build worthwhile experiences for you and can open the eyes of others, expanding our horizons. While tourism is usually talked about in the context of visitor numbers and receipts, we shouldn't forget that the driving force behind it all is people meeting people. Before Instagram or Facebook existed, we didn't post our travel photos to social media. Instead, we would send postcards. I'm guessing many of you would not dream of sending your friends and family a postcard from your travels. It certainly isn't immediate, and you won't get any likes. But the anticipation of going to your mailbox and seeing a postcard from a friend or loved ones telling of their adventures filled you with wanderlust and delight. Travel and tourism can cut away the mundane clutter and reveal the simplicity and beauty of life. This is an important part of the travel experience. Tourism is not transportation going from point A to point B. Instead, it should be a joyful experience. Before I ventured into corporate business development and management, my first job in my mid-20s was working as a general manager of a jewelry store in Hong Kong, which required inventory buying. And on one of my buying trips, which brought me to Art Basel in Switzerland, ended up being a life-changing experience. When I arrived, I was blown away not only by how Art Basel as an event brought people from around the world to collect and admire art, but by how the whole region and various stakeholders came together to develop, promote, and capitalize on this event throughout the whole region. Everyone was focused on bringing people to Basel and the surrounding area and collaborated to ensure that the event would be a success. This was enlightening because tourism is a unique industry. In a sense, it isn't the cutthroat or competitive industry because in order to make it work, we all need to work towards a common goal, to welcome people to your destination. For the most part, people don't travel somewhere for one just simplistic, particular experience like staying in a certain hotel. Instead, they come to experience all that the destination has to offer: its culture, the food, the sights, and of course, meeting the people. When I returned from Art Basel, I knew that my life has changed and I wanted to broaden my sights and scope. So I decided to become an entrepreneur in the mid-1980s, starting my own business in public relations and corporate marketing, which was built on my vast knowledge on jewelry, luxury goods, fashion, hospitality, through being exposed in extensive traveling I'd enjoyed throughout my youth. And within a short span of a few years, because I could offer unique understanding of the brand offerings and the cultural representation of these international brands in fashion and arts, the PR company became the eminent top institution and a success to this date. Eventually, we even expanded from brands into destination marketing and began to tell the unique stories of places. For example, after working with around 50-some French major brands, it became apparent that we are appreciated to possessing the know-how in promoting French culture and tourism to the Chinese market. Then in 1999, Macau became a special administrative region of China, like Hong Kong. Right before this handover, Macau needed to establish its own overseas marketing agency. At that point, my family business was solely responsible for all overseas promotions. My father thought that with my international destination marketing experience, I should then apply my experiences also for Macau. At that time, I took over the Macau Tourism International Bureau and was also on the committee to setting up the transition, eventually what would now become the Macau Government Tourism Office, which is of course a public entity that implements tourism policies and promotes to cities of the world. Even though I was working in the private sector, I was almost half government. And throughout my career, I've worked across the spectrum of the industry. I never began my career as an investor in tourism, but I was involved, like many of you, a fellow practitioner, and simply just supporter of tourism, and began by advising tourism development and promotion. Over the course of my 3 decades in this sector, I've worn and continue to wear multiple hats, This means that I've been involved in the tourism sector in varying roles as an advisor, an entrepreneur, an investor, a developer, and as an avid traveler myself. I've been involved in destination development and marketing at the local, regional, national, and international levels. Throughout, I've been committed to authentic cultural development, heritage preservation, and international exchange. Today, I'd like to not only reflect on my personal journey coming to tourism, but how my love for my home, my culture, and my civilization has guided my core mandate for my businesses. Tourism is inherently a people's sector. It brings people together to learn from one another, to enjoy culture, and to expand our perspectives. These qualities continue to draw me to this sector. Our job in tourism is to look after people, to make sure that they are well taken care of, and that when they go home, they are left with a lasting impression. This is at the root of everything. When I started working on the brand and development of Macau, I knew that focusing on its unique hospitality, heritage, culture, and people was essential. My home city, Macau, is located on the Pearl River Delta and has played an essential role of bringing people together throughout history. Macau had deep links to Portugal for over 300 years and a key center for trade on the maritime Silk Road. This emergence of East and West can still be seen in Macau's culture, food, architecture, traditions, and festivities. It is also a key city of the Greater Bay Area, or the GBA, a regional alliance of 11 cities, 9 in mainland China and the 2 SARs, Hong Kong and Macau, with a vision to build a world-class business and economic hub with a population of over 8 million. The region has been linked through a common culture called the Lingnan culture for nearly 1,000 years. The Ningnan culture connects the GBA, and at the same time, each city has gone on to developing its own distinct flavor. Today, though Macau has only over 600,000 residents and is concentrated on only 33 square kilometers of land, it has become one of the world's top tourism destinations, welcoming 40 million visitors in 2019. The evolution of Macau from a fishing village to a city with world-class facilities is a story of cooperation between the public and private sectors, as well as innovation in transportation, infrastructure, and product development. My family business, Shuntak Holdings, played an important role in leading the way in innovating the transportation and infrastructure of the region. Macau and Hong Kong are separated by 50 kilometers of water. Back before the roads and bridges that are there today, sea connectivity was critical for regional cooperation, trade, and tourism to thrive. 60 years ago, our company launched a ferry service using high-speed jet fuel fleets and offering cross-border land transportation services that played a key role in bringing together a region that had been historically divided into separate sovereignties. Macau needed the infrastructure to welcome visitors, and our company supported construction of a modern ferry terminal. We also acquired high-speed crafts running on jet engines that shortened the travel time between Hong Kong and Macau from 4 hours to 50 minutes. Shortening the travel time between these two places altered the future for the whole region, allowing more visitors to travel between Macau, Hong Kong, and mainland China, which ultimately propelled Macau's tourism industry. I've been dedicated for many years to transforming Macau from a single industry to a vibrant city of tourism and leisure. Macau is known around the world for its gaming facilities, but throughout my career I've seen its great potential as a destination that aggregates multiple segments ranging from culture, heritage, sports, events, and even adventure. Perhaps Macau is not the first destination you think of when you think of adventure tourism. But in 2001, I partnered with A.J. Hackett, a famous New Zealand entrepreneur who first invented the bungee jump that we now know of. And we put that on the Macau Tower, which is the city's iconic landmark. It was built as the 8th highest tower in Asia and the 10th in the world by the year of its completion. This bungee jump is a 233-meter drop and is a Guinness World Record for the highest commercial bungee jump from a building in the world. This exhilarating experience became a distinct tourism product, and the tower became a center for adventure, but also a center for conferences, events, dining, and entertainment. It set the trend as more bungee jumps were introduced throughout the whole region. By 2007, I was fully recognized and rooted in tourism and hospitality industry of Macau, which lended me an opportunity to form a partnership with MGM Resorts to build and develop integrated resorts in Macau. My vision with our first property, MGM Macau, which opened in late 2007, was to create a destination where visitors not only want to come again and again, but a place where residents can come and see top production of performances and museum-worthy art pieces. I led the creation of a permanent gallery within MGM Macau called Art Space, which offers year-round interactive art and cultural program to both visitors and residents. There were many detractors to this project who argued that art offerings were not of interest to the typical Macau visitor. Nevertheless, I persisted with my vision because I believe that art is a universal language and can convey aspects of a culture in ways that other mediums cannot. Our debut exhibition featured the Italian Renaissance master Sandro Botticelli's Venus. This public art concept was unlike anything anyone in Macau had ever seen or experienced, and it completely changed people's opinion of an integrated resort. Throughout the world, and in particularly in China, art and culture inspire and motivate today's new generation of travelers. When we opened the second property, MGM Cotai, in 2018, we again aimed to change the way we approach leisure. One of its outstanding features is the spectacle, in which its expansive glass roof holds the first architectural and structural Guinness World Records title for Macau, China, that provides an immersive multi-sensory experience for our visitors. The spectacle also features the world's largest area of permanent indoor LED screens that shows an array of digital art collected from around the globe. It has become a new platform for world-renowned artists to showcase innovative and original curated art scenes. I've taken MGM China's cultural outreach to a higher level and become more and more interested in the intersections of culture and sustainability. Lingnan culture, found throughout southern China, has become a central focus for MGM China Entertainment, and through different mediums, we have strived to champion the Lingnan culture that has shaped Macau into a unique and fascinating city. One example of this is the lion dance, a traditional cultural performance that brings together acrobatics and dance to mimic the movements of a lion. It is an important part of Chinese culture and represents joy and happiness through the full embodiment of acrobatic techniques, choreography, group unison, and showmanship. We've worked to revive this important part of culture by introducing it to the new audiences and providing a platform for younger generations to participate. Since 2010, the MGM Macau International Lion Dance Championship attracts around 30 teams from all over the world to learn, compete, and draw public interest to the tradition. We even created the largest dancing lion, which is in the Guinness World Records. In 2018, MGM China extended the scope of this event to Macau youth and launched the first ever junior lion dance performance competition. MGM China has trained more than 460 future lion dance masters, and 85 of them joined our junior lion dance continuous training program to further their mastery. And to promote inclusion in society, MGM collaborated with Macau Special Olympics to form the first lion dance troupe of people with intellectual disabilities. Riding on the lion dance success, in 2021, MGM China launched the Lion IP Series, a lineup of original MGM brand events built around Lingnan culture. One of these events is the dance drama called MGM Awakening Lion, presented by MGM China in collaboration with Guangzhou Song and Dance Theatre that mixes modern music with the traditional dance. We've also partnered with local SMEs in the creative industries to promote Lingnan culture, such as a mainland fashion brand, and developed clothes that focus on lion dance culture, as well as local multimedia production house to invent augmented reality interactive experiences for art pieces. These collaborations across industries and with international partners featuring creative artists have brought new life to this ancient culture, connecting younger generations to their heritage. Lingnan culture is a perfect example of cultural sustainability, as its values have been maintained but also built upon. Continuing its legacy makes it an enabler and driver of sustainable development. With Chinese culture having a special place in my heart, I continue to explore new concepts, but innovation must be built on a foundation of respect and understanding for tradition. I'm currently supporting a project to produce a 6-episode documentary about the embroidery tradition and techniques of the Miao and Sui minority groups who live in the mountains of Guizhou province in China. Due to rapid social change and urbanization, the traditions of these groups are under a threat of extinction, most severely in the past 30 years. One of these traditions is embroidery, and the techniques of this art form, an intangible heritage, requires great skill and knowledge to transfer. Launching in late spring 2023, the documentary will feature the 6 traditional embroidery techniques of the Miao and Sui ethnic groups. The episodes will focus on the stories of the female artisans and reveal how through this art form, the artisans remain connected to past generations and how embroidery has helped them overcome challenges in their lives. The preservation of these traditional art forms is key to promoting China's diverse traditional cultures and communicating the profound stories that can be found throughout China. I've recognized that international exchange helps us to gain a deeper understanding of other cultures and to learn good practices from around the world. And as an entrepreneur, I've embraced the importance of a broad reach across sectors. Therefore, in 2012, I founded and spearheaded the creation of the Global Tourism Economy Forum, held annually in Macau as the first public-private partnership initiative in China to champion the promotion of sustainable development of global tourism. Bringing together diverse stakeholders from around the world has made GYTS an outstanding meeting place for tourism's thought leaders to put forward ideas on the opportunities in the sector. Through 10 editions of the GYTS, we've brought the world to Macau by partnering with a country and a Chinese province each year. The success of GYTS is based on building a dialogue on the most important issues. The global pandemic has caused the global tourism economy to face some of its greatest challenges in history. We've seen collaboration across the sector, has been essential to weathering the storm. This period has led the tourism sector to look inward, to reflect on the world's fragilities, and to contemplate new ways how the sector can contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. From the beginning, sustainability has been an integral part of MGM China. I am the founding chairperson of the Low Carbon Green Hotel Development Alliance, which collaborates with other hotels, industry partners, and professional alliances throughout mainland China and Macau to map feasible and innovative measures that are based on science to cut back on carbon emissions. MGM China aims to lead the way for the region and its first integrated resort operator to have all its properties fully converted to clean and low-carbon natural gas. Sustainable development also depends on taking a more holistic view of a destination's geography, heritage, and the livelihoods of its residents. While contemplating the future of tourism, it is important to get back to the basics of what the industry is all about and what it brings to travelers and to residents. I've found throughout my career that embracing the tourism sector is a way of investing back into people, investing in my hometown, and investing in my culture so that it can be shared with future generations. I am confident that global citizens like yourselves will harness the great potential of this sector and become tomorrow's leaders. Thank you.